If you've ever felt like a stranger to yourself, scattered, disconnected, or off track, you are not broken. But something inside of you may be blocking your connection to your wholeness. And here's an important truth that you need to know. You are beautifully, unchangeably whole. Every human on this earth is. You were born that way, you remain that way, nothing can change it. And if you don't feel that way, if you don't feel that wholeness, it does not make that untrue. It simply means that there's something that is blocking that connection to your experience of wholeness. And so today I want to share with you 5 common things that are often hidden that block our connection to our wholeness and what you can do about it. So the first reason may be that you are experiencing a lack of safety, either due to past or current experience. Something is signaling your nervous system that you are not safe, which puts you into a protective mode. And that can show up in a variety of patterns. Some common ones are if you have a pattern of achieving, right? Needing to achieve to sort of prove yourself, a pattern of perfectionism. If I can just do everything right and never make mistakes, I can prevent myself from receiving any of that criticism. Sometimes your own inner critic is a form of protection. In fact, always your own inner critic is a form of protection. It's coming in, and if I can just criticize myself first, then I can adapt and correct before anyone else has the chance to criticize me, right? You're protecting. Or it could be a numbing pattern, right? Something to take me out of my experience and disconnect me from what's happening to protect me from something that feels unsafe. And sometimes we see this in the form of like eating and food, right, as a way to sort of numb and take you out of your experience. So any of these and many more could be a manifestation that you are experiencing some form of a lack of safety. And in that space of not feeling safe, rather than being able to express your wholeness, which is where you feel that confidence, you feel the connection with others, you feel the freedom to create, right? All of that comes from your place of wholeness. But instead, you're feeling more of that protection, right? I need to protect, I need to stay safe, and I do that through any of those patterns, right? Perfectionism, achievement, numbing, that inner criticism. Those are some really common examples of a lack of safety. The second hidden source of disconnection from your wholeness is unprocessed shame. And as we know, you've probably heard before, shame is that experience of not being good enough or just feeling like you are bad, right? It's this fundamental belief that questions your value and questions your worth. And if you're holding that unprocessed shame, it's hard to believe in your wholeness, right? It's hard to want to make the journey there because you will have to encounter that badness, right? And so unprocessed shame that you haven't allowed to release from your system can block that connection to your experiencing your wholeness. The third thing that may be blocking your connection to your whole self is a disconnection or a lack of trust in yourself. And this may show up as an inability to feel your feelings, or it may be an inability to trust your feelings. I know what I'm feeling, but I don't trust it, or I just can't even feel it at all. I can't name it. I can't feel those sensations. This looks like living primarily out of your head, right? So over intellectualizing things, thinking a lot about things, and resisting the ability to drop down and allow yourself to feel your experience and notice what's happening in your body. Notice what emotions are surfacing, noticing what images feel present, what memories, right? All of that is a rich, important part of your experience. And when we cut that off and live primarily in our thoughts, we are disconnected from a significant part of our whole self. The fourth thing that may be causing a disconnection from your wholeness is living by other people's rules. So it's pretty common for us to absorb values and standards from other people. And we end up carrying invisible rules. Things like, I must always be productive, or I should never ask for help. Or to be confident means to always be right, or to be the loudest person in the room, right? We carry these rules of what we think these things should look like and should mean, and then these scripts become internalized. The challenge is these are beliefs and standards that we've picked up from external sources, right? And so that leaves us always looking externally to determine if we're living them correctly and if we're doing it right, right? And it comes from a place often from ideas that we've formed to help us stay safe, to stay loved and to be accepted, right? These are the things that I think I need to do to stay safe, loved, and accepted. And so the shift back to wholeness begins with just a fundamental belief that you deserve to be cherished, you deserve to be safe, and you deserve to be accepted. And if you can take those things off the table and not need to earn them, then you can begin to shift inside and you can ask, what does success look like to me? What is my experience telling me? What do I value, right? And with those questions, you can start to form the rules that work for your life and that work for you and your values and the vision that you want to create for your life, right? Those rules come from your place of wholeness. The fifth thing that may be blocking your connection to your wholeness is avoiding emotions. And many of us have unprocessed emotion in our body because we learned at some point that it wasn't safe to feel that emotion, right? When we feel it, maybe it led to some form of disconnection or what felt like abandonment. And so we don't experience it. We just stuff it down or avoid it or deny it, right? And it continues to live in our body. And when we numb or bypass parts of our emotional experience, we are not just avoiding pain, we are blocking and cutting off access to ourselves because our whole self, right, is the dark and the light. And embracing both is what allows us to really fully experience and know our wholeness. Wholeness does not mean feeling good all the time. It means making space for it all, the light and the shadow. So here's the problem with all of these five things, right? When we lose connection to our wholeness, we begin to believe that we are broken, that wholeness is for other people and not for us, that experiencing wholeness is distant and impossible. And none of these are true. It is never true. It simply means that you need to restore connection. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do next. The solution to all of this is investing in your relationship with yourself by connecting to your wholeness on a daily basis. And if you think about any relationship that you value, any relationship that is flourishing in your life, it is flourishing because you are investing in it in a regular basis, frequently, and with kindness. And this to me is the most critical form of self-care, right? We talk about self-care in a lot of different forms. And this one I think so often gets neglected, just simply spending time with yourself, right? Self-care, the fundamentals, sleep, get enough sleep, eat well, move your body, and invest in that relationship with yourself. So how do you do that? What does that look like? First of all, set aside time each day to be with yourself and just to go inside, meaning go into your internal experience and explore and understand what's happening. Be kind and familiar with what is going on inside of you. And by doing this, you begin to create space. You begin to create space from the things that so often flood our experience, like that disconnection, like the lack of safety, like the unprocessed emotions, right? We begin to create space and shine light on all of these things so that they can shift out of our experience and make room for our wholeness to emerge. So how do we do that? So there's 4 steps. The first one is to come back into your body with a focus on sensation, right? Just coming back in and noticing, what do I feel in my body right now? Can I feel my heartbeat? If I was so still, could I feel my heartbeat? What does my breath feel like as it enters my body, right? Do I feel tension or tightness anywhere? Do I feel like I'm holding or carrying any energy, right? Just resting and being still for 2 minutes or 2 to 3 minutes and just noticing, what is my experience? What are my sensations in this moment? That's step 1. The second step is in this space, right, of awareness of sensation, invite curiosity and compassion. Compassion is such a beautiful and important word, right? It's being with suffering. And we're inviting that energy to be with whatever surfaces in our system, whether it's suffering or whether it's joy or whether it's whatever it is, right? We're just being with it with compassion and with curiosity, meaning we're not judging. We're not saying right or wrong. We're saying what is? What is here, right? That's the energy of curiosity. So that's the second step. The third step is to begin sifting your experience. To sift means to So it's an acronym SIFT. You're paying attention to sensations, which we've already begun, right, with step 1. You're noticing any images that are appearing. You're paying attention to any feelings or emotions that are present in your body. And you are noticing any thoughts, right? You could just simply ask, what do I hear myself saying to myself? What's my current thought track or the talk track inside my head, right? So you begin sifting your experience. And this is really important because noticing, just giving yourself the time to notice, begins to create space, right? When you notice those things, they start to relax and give you some space, which is what we're after. That's what we want to experience. There's a few things that you can do to make this a little bit more concrete. You can try mapping it out on paper, right? A simple mind map to say, this is me in this moment. I'm noticing I'm feeling tightness here. I'm feeling this emotion. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling tired. I'm noticing I'm replaying this conversation that I had, right? You just can start to map it out. And as you map it out, that in itself begins to create space. And in that space, now you can build relationship with it, right? You can even use the words, I'm noticing that a part of me feels anxious. I'm noticing that a part of me is holding a lot of energy around that conversation. I'm noticing a part of me has some tightness, right? And you're beginning to unblend from all of the things that are present for you in this moment. And then step 4 is to offer all of these things loving kindness, right? Just observe it and address it and greet it with some form of kindness, right? Whatever that looks like. It could just be, I see you. It could be, it's okay for you to be here. It could be, it makes sense for you to feel that way. Or it could be, I can tell that this is bothering me. Whatever that looks like to you, offering kindness just gives it that invitation to feel connected to you, right? You feeling connected to you feeling supported by you feeling held by you. That's a really powerful skill to build. And that creates that space for your wholeness to begin to surface and become more present. So this week, if you notice any overwhelm of anxiety or sadness or worry or stress or grief or anything, right? Try these steps. Pause, take a breath, go inside and go through that 4 sequence, right? Of just coming back to sensation, inviting curiosity and compassion, sifting your experience and mapping it out if that's helpful, and then offering it loving kindness, right? Taking those 4 steps. And I just want to close with a reminder that you are not broken. And if you feel broken, it only means that you've lost connection to your wholeness. And it is right there inside of you, waiting for you to experience it, waiting for you to connect in with it again. If this resonated, please leave a comment and let me know what's one part of you that's been showing up a lot lately, what's been taking up a lot of space in your system, maybe blocking that connection to your wholeness, and what's something that you want to try to begin that journey back home. If this resonated with you, please click subscribe for more videos on ways to achieve a life of health and well-being that are connected to yourself, connected to your wholeness, and based on restoring self-trust. You can also go to nourishwhoyouare.com if you're interested in signing up for a coaching consultation, because a lot of the awareness that we build in these videos lead to that readiness, right, to go deeper and to really bring that change into your life. And coaching can help you do that. So you can go to nourishwhoyouare.com and learn more about that there. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next video.